Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning. Bix Weir, roadtoroot.com with your morning hornets. Your sip of chaga coffee. Oh, I'd hate to be Gary Gensler yesterday. They were grilling him on Capitol Hill. Republicans were going after him. Even some Democrats were going after him because what these regulators have turned into. They've turned into a way to destroy any threat to their ingrained system. Their ingrained system, fiat money, the stock market, the bond market, the commodities market, all 100% rigged. When there is any threat to that, they pull out all the guns. Gary Gensler was the gun, and he got destroyed, hammered in a million different ways. I've covered Gary Gensler since 20 years now or so. No, 15 years. Since he joined the CFTC. I think it was 2000, top of my head, 2010, 2011, maybe earlier. Anyway, yeah, he's been one of the bad guys. Gary Gensler, definitely running cover for the banking cabal, definitely part of the deep state, definitely. I'm not saying he's not a smart guy. He got up there and said, we've made 55 cases against crypto people for securities abuses. And at the same time, he says he won't say if cryptocurrencies are securities. And everybody kept asking, are cryptos securities? He wouldn't answer the question, even though he was arresting people, some people, definitely destroying lives. Talk to Reggie Middleton. Talk to Kim Kardashian. He went after Kim Kardashian for promoting a security when the underlying asset he will not call a security. It is so insane, this bizarre world we're living in. But he got nailed, and then came a great. Now, by the way, on this, him and his buddies. Now, Gensler is part of the Working Group on Financial Markets, which is the head of the SEC, the head of the CFTC, the head of the Fed, and the head of the Treasury. They all got together and basically tell the Exchange Stabilization Fund what to do. Exchange Stabilization Fund was set up in 1935 by the U.S. Congress with the Gold Act, the Gold Reserve Act, where they confiscated gold, but they also, in that same declaration, set up the Exchange Stabilization Fund to rig all markets. It has the power to rig all markets at all times. And with cryptos, you don't even need cash to do that. You do it with derivatives, crypto derivatives. Cryptos on exchanges are derivatives. That is, if it's not in your possession, you don't own it. And people are going to find that out very soon, especially with their Coinbase accounts when they try to shut Coinbase down. You'll lose them. You'll lose your cryptos if they're not in your own possession. So just remember that. And what constitutes in your own possession? You're the only one who has access to them. And you have full control. If you're staking, you can pull them off at any time. They come right back to your wallet. Stuff like that. If somebody else is doing it for you, or if you're in some crazy DeFi thing where you'll never get your money out, sorry, you made a mistake. Try to get your cryptos in your own possession. I do know how long I've been screaming about this. As soon as I found out that cryptos were a type of digital scarcity. And it took me a while to get there, but I'm absolutely there. It's a great alternative to what we got going on right now. And we're going to find that out when the old system fails. And that's coming up close. The old system is a trust and faith system. You trust that your bank's going to be open. You trust that your 401k assets aren't being fucked with. You trust that at any time the government will come bail you out of your investments. That's what they did for Silicon Valley Bank. Now they have to do it for everybody. But can they really do that for the $2.5 quadrillion derivative market? I don't think so. Probably not. They will try to enforce their power, and there will. But people are already fighting back, which I love. So this is Bitcoin getting slammed by Gary Gensler and friends. They were the ones behind why we've had this crash in cryptos. They allowed everybody to get into DeFi, and DeFi was a joke from day one. I mean, the whole thing was so stupid, and so many people fell for it who are just as stupid. They're not stupid. They're just not. They don't understand that if you don't hold your cryptos, you don't have your cryptos. You can't earn 50% interest on your cryptos by handing them over to people. That's a Ponzi scheme. As soon as that people wake up, they try to get their crypto out and they can't. And that's a lot of the DeFi people have learned that hard lesson. But it's a great lesson to learn, in my opinion. Anyway, listen to this guy. This was my favorite part of the Gary Gensler testimony. It's got nothing to do with cryptos. Well, a little bit. Check out what this senator says to Gensler. This is just the best thing you'll ever see.
Gensler. Hey, real quick, last question. I think it might have came up. You were Hillary Clinton's CFO in the campaign, right?
It's part of my history.
Were you? Yes or no?
In 2016.
Did you facilitate the payment for the Steele dossier since you were CFO of the Hillary Clinton campaign?
Sir.
Yes or no?
Sir.
Yes or no?
That was not.
You're under oath, Chairman Gensler. Yes or no?
I know. It was not something I was aware of.
I yield back the rest of my time.
What a great call. Yes, he was the chairman of the Hillary Clinton Finance Department in her campaign, and yes, he would have had to approve one of the large expenditures, that expenditure for the Steele dossier. And this guy is literally, he is in power. He is in the power of the head of the SEC. How did he get there? He was also the guy in charge when JP Morgan was rigging the silver market. He was in charge of the CFTC. He's the guy who stopped the CFTC from stopping JP Morgan, according to Bart Chilton, one of the commissioners of the CFTC. Gary Gensler. Remember that name. That will not go down well in history, if you ask me. All right, let's talk silver. Silver is rigged. In case you didn't know, just letting you know right now, silver's rigged, gold's rigged, everything's rigged. That's the problem. But they're trying to hold the system together. The way they did it with silver in the last operation was when the silver squeeze happened. It was after the JP Morgan had been busted for their silver crimes of 2008 to 2016. It was the Trump Justice Department that busted them on RICO charges. They could have got the RICO charges, the racketeering charges. Under those charges, they would have had to pay back 3 times what they stole. So they stole in one, you see, they were shorting silver and then buying the physical to a massive amount, over 1 billion ounces. And what happened? They got busted. Now, they never talk about, they had to pay a $920 million fine, but they booked that same year that they paid that fine $1 billion gain. Now, how do they book $1 billion gain in their precious metals? They would have had to sell a bunch of them in some kind of structured deal. Because if you just lease, Ted Butler seems to think that JP Morgan just leased the silver to Bank of America. And that is true, except the back end is the key. The back end of that lease, does that silver go back to JP Morgan or does it go to somebody else? I believe it absolutely goes to somebody else. And Bank of America had all kinds of structured derivative deals that could make that happen. Who the somebody else is, I think it's the number one probability is the U.S. Mint. Ventures Gibson over at the U.S. Mint is printing. They expanded the production of Silver Eagles, except they're only giving you 800,000 Silver Eagles a month. Their capacity was 5 or 6 million ounces per month, but they're not giving that to you. They're making them, but they're not giving it to you. Where did they get the silver? That's where I think they got the silver. Number 2 is the obvious Warren Buffett. The reason Warren Buffett bought silver in the late 90s was because there was a supply-demand deficit. He's said it 1 million times. Well, my friends, it's been 3 years of a supply-demand deficit in silver, so absolutely. Remember, Warren Buffett didn't tell anybody he was buying silver back in the late 90s. Somebody had found it out through a broker, through an inside source, and then he had to declare. Yes, we have it, but we've stopped buying, is what he said. And then later, the Justice Department, the deep state came in and said, we're taking all your silver, 130 million ounces that he had acquired. And oh, by the way, if you don't give us this silver, we will throw you in jail for being part of a con at General Re, which was his reinsurance company. Whether or not he was part of it, he owned it. So yeah, they can throw him in jail. So he gave him the silver, and that problem went away. You can look it up. And they took that silver and created SLV, the large ETF, so they can throw a whole bunch of fake silver into a derivative game to continue the control. Everything's about the control of the price. Then when the silver squeeze was happening, that's when they had to mobilize the JP Morgan silver. And that's when Bank of America took on this $28 billion derivative position in silver, which was over 1 billion ounces of silver at the time. I hope this all makes sense. That's where we were, but I do believe they've been delivering it. How do we know they've been delivering it? You look at the silver volume, it's not on the COMEX. Remember, it would be too visible to show Bank of America taking 100 million ounces per month type of delivery of silver. It's not even allowed on the COMEX. But it is allowed on the LBMA, the London Bullion Market Association. And there is a derivative recipe on how to do that. You take your silver futures and you buy on the COMEX a silver future, and then you do one of these things. It's exchange for physical, where you take that contract, you exchange it for a contract on the LBMA, and then you take delivery over in London on the LBMA. And they've been doing that month after month after month. Harvey Organ has been tracking that. Currently, this month, they are on track to be another huge month. So far, there's 84 million ounces of silver that has gone through that process. Buy the contract on the COMEX. Can't take delivery on the COMEX. That would be seen by the world. Push it over to the LBMA, the London Bullion Market Association, which doesn't report who is playing with games with the silver, and then make the delivery there. Now, they've been doing this month after month after month, and for the last, it's been over 1 billion ounces. So Ted thinks there was about 1 billion ounces. I was running the numbers, there's about 1.2 billion ounces, I think. But there's a lot of conspiracy in that, and people don't like conspiracy. Ted likes to use only the numbers that are reported, and whether or not those are real, nobody really knows. But that's what we have to work with. In March of last year, it was the largest ever exchange for physical. And I think they started paying off that physical in January of 2022. Because you go back, these are 1-year leases. They keep rolling over and rolling over and rolling over. But yeah, you can kind of see where it's going. And then, it's like, where did India get the 300 million ounces that they supposedly imported last year, according to the data? Because the Silver Institute never counted that in their analysis. Jeffrey Christian never counted that in their analysis, in his analysis. It's a joke. We are living in a living joke. And once you understand that they can click a mouse and put the price of silver to $1 million an ounce overnight with a click of a mouse, or they can put it to minus $40 an ounce like they did with oil. It's a click of a mouse. Our whole world is a click of a mouse. The value of the dollar is determined by a mouse click. The value of every currency. The United States, because they have the strongest mouse. The United States Exchange Stabilization Fund has the strongest mouse. They can destroy the Russian ruble in a blink of an eye. They can destroy the Chinese yuan in a blink of an eye. But they aren't. They don't want to call attention to what's really going on. They would need an excuse. Excuse might be one of these big banks failing, and then they click the mouse. That's why you have to have your assets in your own possession as we go through this insanity. Speaking of insanity, California's Dream for All home down payment. So California, the ridiculous state that I live in, was going to guarantee a down payment for millions of Americans to buy a house. Basically give away money that they stole in taxes. They take our money in taxes and they give it to people to buy a house because it's the California dream. we got all this money. 12 days this lasted. Who wouldn't apply for free money? 12 days it lasted, and then it ran out of budget. Money is not a problem, though, because they'll get federal grants. They get all this shit. San Francisco wants to give $5 million to every black person. Is there anybody who would not identify as a black person in San Francisco to get your $5 million in reparations? The insanity. California was never legal to have slaves in California. And yet San Francisco seems to think they have all this money. They don't have any money. They just put insane people in charge. They can say whatever they want. They're dreaming. And with all the housing crashes and all the businesses moving out of California, California is being gutted. Maybe that's the idea. Make it a complete wasteland so we can mine all that damn gold in Southern California. Because we'll be needing a hell of a lot of gold. Stick everybody into the mines. Make them slaves. This is insane. The whole world has gone absolutely insane. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. I will be going out to Oklahoma City. We will be there Friday night and Saturday, all day with Litecoin Lisa. Go check out her channel. And there's information, litecoinlisa.net, I believe. Let's see. Yep, litecoinlisa.net. You can get tickets. Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is the place to be. We're going to have so much fun. And go to events. And right here on 4/21, we are going to live stream for the happy hour. And then there's tickets for that. And then the next day is the Mighty Mia celebration of Mia's birthday. It's charity for cancer victim this time. Really fun event. Come hang out. You can hang out live or virtually. And yeah, go check it out. We're headed to Oklahoma City. The Road to Ruta Road Show will be there. Paige and Josh are coming from the Pebbleton Post. Come check us out. This is Bix. Oh, by the way, don't forget, I am currently, at the moment, although I'm not sure I will continue this for very long because the real price of silver has separated from the actual physical price of the coins that you need to get. It's hard to find silver under $30 these days in the coin form. So we are giving away one silver Road to Ruta coin with every subscription for right now. That will end abruptly. Very soon, silver's going to bust through $30, and then all chaos will break, and we will stop giving away the coin. So get yours today. Go to roadtoruta.com, click on subscribe today, and you can renew for another year, or you can just join and get a new subscription. Go check it out. This is Bix. I'll talk to you.